the Herd Line News.
So the Browns and Freddie Kitchens are entering the season with most of their hopes riding on Baker Mayfield.
Yes.
After an impressive rookie season, he seems to be up to the task, and Kitchens had nothing but praise for Baker, especially his knack of extending plays.
Oh, that's very interesting.
I don't really think you can coach anybody on escaping, and if they tell you they can, they're lying to you. So I think you just have to have a feel for the pocket. And when it's collapsing or whatever, you got to get out of there or sit there and take a sack, and I don't like sacks.
Nobody likes sacks.
No.
I think he's right, actually. I think that having an awareness of the pocket and the escapability, however you want to measure that, is something that is kind of natural. I mean, we see quarterbacks like Ben Roethlisberger, who's a Hall of Famer, Super Bowl quarterback, not really known for getting out of a collapsed pocket very well.
Right.
But Baker is also on the shorter end of quarterbacks, and he is likened a lot to Russell Wilson, who is maybe one of the all-time escape artists in football. So this is something that isn't teachable and is definitely an element to Baker's game.
Yeah, no, I think feel it. And I think Baker's got that. I think Darnold has it. Baker has it. I think certain guys do. I mean, Brady, it's almost a sixth sense now. You can just see him slide up, slide over.
Oh, yeah. I mean, his footwork is magical, but he also really, 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 really doesn't like getting hit.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of a second nature to Brady at this point. So the Cowboys are at a standstill in contract talks with their three key offensive players. According to The Athletic, Dak has turned down a $30 million per year offer. If that is true, Dak rejected a deal that would have made him the sixth highest paid quarterback in terms of average salary.
That's a pretty good offer.
It's a pretty good offer. Obviously not the offer that he wants, if it's true. And we're also 18 days into Zeke's holdout as well. But before Saturday's preseason game, Jerry Jones says he is not bothered.
Any updates with Ezekiel Elliott's contract?
Yes, and consequently, if they'll read the newspaper, they'll see that he's still in Cabo and we're here in San Francisco. It's a marathon. It's a long season. It's a long career. And so that you don't let a week or you don't let a month, you don't let any of that bother you. And it goes on all the time. It's not like you play 16 games. You work on this 12 months a year.
I really don't know what the Cowboys are going to do. Obviously, Zeke holding out has created the issue this year. I think that if Zeke wasn't holding out right now, Dak's contract might already be done. Zeke is 2 years out from his contract, but he's in a situation where he is a running back and there's a lot of turnover at that position, and he feels like he's the star. I feel like you need to pay Dak first, and I felt like that before Zeke started holding out and before we started talking about Amari, because he is the franchise quarterback. All this talk about $30 million is too much for Dak. Who else would you like? Would you like to trade up in the draft and try for a rookie? Or
who would be the most tradable asset, Amari, Dak, or Zeke? Now, I don't think teams would line up for Dak, but I do think there's about 4 or 5 teams that would line up for Zeke.
Yeah.
So my takeaway is you pay Dak. It's just the most important position, and he's shown leadership skills. Amari, I can hold off for a year. I'd say it. I would test the waters. I think you could end up getting a back and 2 picks for Zeke. I don't think you'd get a lot in the open market for Amari. I like him, but
I think Amari is more valuable with Dak than on the trade market.
And I think Dak's got a limited trade value. As I'll say, I would just make calls on Zeke. I think he's very good. He's a pass-catching running back, which is, you're a dinosaur now. If you can't do that, I would look. I'm telling you, I think this is...
No one's questioning Zeke's value to the Cowboys.
He's
right?
very valuable.
He's very valuable, but there hasn't been a rushing champ that's won a Super Bowl in like 20 years.
Yes.
Jerry's right about that. And I love the running back position. I very much think that I would love for them to pay Zeke, but I think if it's between Dak and Zeke, you have to pay the quarterback. You have to.
No question.
I don't understand the disparity.
But if your offense runs through the running back, then you've got the wrong offense. I keep hearing that. Dallas's offense runs through Zeke. Well, that's why you're not winning enough.
Some changes made then.
That's why you're not winning enough playoff games.
Yes. So finally, the Colts are 3 weeks and 6 days away from Week 1. They'll have joint practices with the Browns this week, and Andrew Luck will be out. He's working his way back from a lingering calf injury. And Frank Reich gave an update on Luck's status. He said continuing to progress with his strength, still a degree of pain in his calf that he's not comfortable with. Obviously, we're not comfortable with putting him out there. We're going to continue to work with our medical staff on the plan moving forward. This has concerned me for a couple weeks now, but it is important to point out, as Peter King mentioned, that Luck has had 3 MRIs on this strained calf. So that shows that not only is there a serious level of concern, but there's also some degree of confusion as to the injury itself. It's not so concerning that he's not playing in the preseason, because we're seeing a lot of star players sit out in the preseason, and there's really no need for him to be in the preseason. But he's not practicing, which is concerning to me. And then, there's always a saying, you come into the season injured, you're going to leave the season injured. You really want to see Andrew Luck at 100%. And with this little amount of time left till the season starts.
How did he hurt it again?
He hurt it back in April.
January, February, March. So he hurt it like an OTA? So he hurt it in that. How did he?
I don't even remember exactly how he hurt it, but it's been lingering for quite some time now, and he's still not out there practicing, and they're still taking it slow. So I do think that
work this guy. I think that's what needs to be said. I don't know what anybody's writing or what anybody thinks, but this foot injury wasn't his fault. This was a total accident. It really wasn't his fault, and it's a serious injury. I know some people are smarting at it, but it's really not a laughing matter. The guy was hurt. He was innocent. He didn't do anything wrong, and the helmet thing is a personal matter to him.
I think Gruden's talking through social media, so Antonio Brown hears it. Antonio Brown reportedly is on Instagram and social media all day, which a lot of people, young people are especially. So, there's no wiggle room here. Antonio Brown has to play. Aaron Rodgers, Brady, none of these guys like their helmets. They don't want to change helmets. It'd be like telling a baseball player you got to change a bat. They just don't like it. So athletes are superstitious. They get very comfortable. There's a lot of things players don't like. I just don't think you make them public. I don't think you file grievances. So I think the Raiders have a major distraction on their hand, and they're not a talented enough team to be missing their most talented player. Coming up, I do think there are 5 breakout stars. If you play fantasy football or just like football, I do think we're going to see 5 players really pop this year, and I want to talk about those 5 players coming up next. Well, I've told you about M-Drive and their product line for the last couple of years. Gary, a scientist in Arizona, as he reached 50, noticed his stamina, naps were longer, a little more tired, had lost energy, and he had kids, boys in their 20s, that are athletic, hikers, bikers, trail runners, and he wanted to be part of it. So he went out and he created M-Drive. And one of the products in the M-Drive line is M-Drive Boost and Burn, which is clinically tested ingredients to boost your testosterone levels. I take 2 every morning, and it helps you burn fat. And if you burn fat, you have more energy. Walgreens, Rite Aid, Vitamin Shop, or make it easy. Just go to mdriveformen.com and type in the code HERD to receive 20% off your first